このインコたちはあたいの相棒なの。一緒にいてもいいよね。この子たちはビスケットさえありゃ食え気もいとわないんだ。それにあんたなら絶対あたいたちを守ってくれる。だよね、旦那。
Hi everyone, back again with me, Magic Joe, and in this video I would like to share my opinion and a little bit of review of Homa, the enigmatic vendor. For starters, I would like to say that Homa is a really great unit, not only for support but also to deal damage. Homa is associated with Drifter and Aggression unit, which makes her a stronger candidate to pair with Miguel, Nonowil, and Auguste. It's because of the leader aura that they have, even though Auguste doesn't have the leader aura, but Homa is well known as a peanut butter and jelly, or the final puzzle piece for Auguste to ascend him to a god tier unit in this game. Her trait, Best Partner, gives her ability to ignore blocks, enhance her physical attack value, and also provide some extra damage based on her total P attack value for her, and also the elite unit that has Balur attached on them. Starting at star level 3, she will have an additional effect that will increase her movement speed by 1 tile when she is in healthy state. So make sure that you need to make her in healthy sets every turn to gain this bonus from the traits. And at star level 5, the Balur attack will have an additional ability to steal 2 random buffs and 1 energy for Homa, which is a really devastating threat to deal with. And in my opinion, ability that could steal buff or dispelling buff are really quite strong in this late game, as buff will give like a bonuses that scales with the unit's attack. So I think start leveling up Homa to 5 stars is a really good option to do. If you really like her and utilize her a lot on your team, I would really suggest you to focus on her and level her up to like 5 level stars right away. Looking at her base stats here, I couldn't find anything that could really impress me. As you might see, all her stats is pretty average if you compare it to any other units. But having 210 speed is good to set up the battle, especially when you want to set her up with Auguste that has 209, because that would be effectively prep him to do some devastating attack to your enemies, because Homa will do her action before the Auguste, because it's only like 1 speed different. It's just like if you think it with a combat and barrel combo, you know. Her attack might not be the highest though, but the base of 1434 physical attack is pretty decent, especially if you have her at 5 stars, because she will get another additional bonus of 20% of her physical attack, and that will boost her physical attack value even higher. Being a breaker unit with 3143 HP is pretty risky, but since Homa is a ranged attacker and she has a really good mobility from her trait and also her abilities, she's going to do well and still can survive the battle. Now let's talk about Homa's abilities. The basic skill that comes with her is a knockback shot, a single target attack that has a good amount of multiplication of the physical attack and also have the ability to knock back the target by 2 tiles. It has a good range, but you would probably want to use this as a situational option regarding on the stage that you will get into. It will be very useful to knock back enemies to the abyss or the pitfall, and also if you want to do some collateral damage to the enemy. And now look at the first rank or the rank 1. For both of these skills are really essential, like very essential for me, especially like on Homa. That's why I would recommend to use Castalia on her to get those 2 skills on the rank 1. Hovering support is a really good support and instant ability that gives mobility and attack enhancement while also going to attach the parrot, or what we call balloon, to the target and makes them dealing extra damage if they're attacking with single target attack as well, because Homa's passive. This skill will also enhance the corresponding skill effect for Balor by 1.5 times and lasting for 2 turns. On the other side, Tacit Choice is a decision ability that will give you an option to attack or support during the turn. If you choose this attack, you will have the barrel attack, is a single target attack that deals physical damage and also inflict plant status to the enemies while also reducing their physical defense by 60%. It also has an additional attack to Combat Balur in order to dealing an AoE attack which has 50% to inflict the blind on targets for 1 turn as well. And if you want Homa to do some support, you can choose the Cool Breeze, which is a support ability that dispel block healing before the healing on the target, and it will additionally heal and dispel 2 buffs from the all allies within 2 tiles of the Balor position. This 2 skill requires a good placement of Balur on your team to fully utilize the effect. So make sure that you know where the Balurs got attached while using this skill. At rank 3, Homa will have access to Shield Brick Enhanced, which going to make your Homa's attack stronger against a target with physical shield. This ability might be useful to use against defender role target, as they usually have the ability to regenerate shield, and Homa also have the advantage on dealing damage as a breaker unit. It is a really good skill to have in certain situations though. Harmony is a good passive skill that heals and dispels 1 debuff on allies within 2 tiles of Homa after she uses a basic attack or any skill at the end of her turn. If you're using Homa as a support on your team, this passive is a really must-pick ability that I would rather to choose this ability than the shield breaking. At rank 5, Evasive Mirage is a better reaction ability compared to Fleeing Hair. It's a preemptive reaction ability that will trigger before the attack and inflict blind to the enemies. If Homa successfully dodges the attack, she will do a strike back and also retreat by 2 tiles, which going to help her survive to increase her survive ability. On the other side, Fleeing Hair is also good in a certain situation because it will give the damage reduction by 8%, which going to make a Homa a little bit tankier if she got attacked by the AoE attack and also single target attack. And it will also give an extra movement after being attacked by an active attack. So it depends on the situation which one is gonna be better for you, but my recommendation will goes to the Evasive Mirage. And rank 7 skills are really situational ability to have. For me, Scutter is a really nice option for AoE attack that you could spam pretty much every turns because it has a quite good range, and also it only costs 2 energy to use without any cooldown, and also that movement down debuff from this skill will also considered powerful as it will cripple your enemy unit to get closer to your team and limit their movement. And on the other side, Rampage Archers is another passive skill that Homa could have access to. It gives a significant boost for her damaging capability by increasing her attack and also crit chance if there is an enemy around 1 tile of her, which going to synergize well with her trait and other support skill that she has. So if you want to build Homa as a support, I would say just get the Scatter. But if you want to use her or utilize her more as a DPS, I would say just take the Rampage Archers because this passive is really good for her to boost her damage. And now for her basic attack modifier, at rank 9, Tangling Flying Knives would offer you a better mobility as after attacking, you can move again with +1 movement, and it makes it easier to repositioning Homa in the battle. Ice attack is also a good basic attack to have on Homa, because it will give you a better attack range and also gonna give a movement down on the healthy target that will last 1 turn. But if you ask me what to choose, I would prefer to have the tangling flying knives over the ice attack. It's because I already have an option to apply the movement down from the scatters on my Homa's builds. And finally, we're reaching the rank 11 of Homa's abilities, and Homa will have access to her ultimate ability, which called Hustle Around Carnival. I don't know if I pronounce it right, but it is what it is. This skill requires 3 energy to use with 4 turns cooldown. This is an AoE ability which grants the disturbance on Homa and the allies that has Valor, so they could dodge a one single target attack from the enemies, then deal AoE damage and disable active and also passive skill on the enemies for 2 turns. It will also attach or move Valor from one target or from one allies to another after using this skill, or after this skill is being used. As I said before, this skill is going to allow you to move Valor around your allies. So if you don't have hovering support, you could also use this skill to attach the Valor to your allies. So you can use the Homa Stride maybe on Auguste or any units that has a good single target attack to deal more damage. And on the other side, Hurt Piercing is a single target attack ability that has a huge amount of damage regarding to your enemy unit's health status. It will give 20% bonus damage to injured enemies and 40% to dying target. For me, I think it's a finisher move to one-shot your enemy. It might be working well for damage build Homa, or like if you want to build your Homa as a damage dealer, if you combine it with the Shield Breaker passive ability to melt down the target in 1 turn. And I think that's all my explanation for Homa's ability, and the way you want to build her, it depends on what role do you need on your team. Whether if you need Homa to be a support or a damage dealer, it's up to you. Because she is a really flexible unit whenever you want to utilize her on your team. And now let's have a look how you can build Homa. In my opinion, Homa is the best when you build her as the DPS. So my first suggestion for the DPS Homa on the weapon is the melee mega crossbow. This is like a no-brainer weapon that you could equip at Homa. At 5 stars, it's going to give you increased damage up to 32%. And for each additional tile away from the target, it's gonna reduce it by 5% and up to 20%. So at maximum, the damage reduction would be 20%. That means you could always have that 12% bonus no matter how far you hit the enemies from. And as you know that Homa is pretty much doing single target attack, and she has a quite not really a good range for her attack. So you could always get that 12% damage at the least. So that's why melee mega crossbow is really good as for DPS Homa. But if you want to build her as the infection build, Whale Hunter is also pretty good. And also if you want to build her as the support, I would suggest the Martyr's Bow, which going to give you the 10% like a debuff to amplification damage to the enemies whenever you attack with single target with Homa. But just remember, all the birds, like the damage that you deal from best partner or like from the parrot that she has, it will not apply the debuff if you're using the Martyr's Bow. So in conclusion, if you're looking for a DPS Homa, melee mega crossbow is really good. But if you want to build her as a support, I would suggest you to get the Martyr's Bow. I don't have the bow at the moment in my inventory. Quite unlucky with that one, but I'm just gonna show you what it looks like in the cornucopia for later on. And next, let's see about the trinket. I think the best trinket that you could have on Homa is Flying Blade Guard, because it's an instant ability which going to give you a piercing damage equal to 12% of enemy HP, and pretty much you could use it in every 3 turns. But if you have it at 5 stars, you could pretty much use it every turn. The reason the reason behind this gonna be like the best trinket for Homa, it's because every time if you have, like, let's say you have 5-star trinket of the Flying Arm Guard, it's going to be used, you pretty much gonna use it pretty much every turns. And with the best partner, or if you have anything or using this skill over here or hovering support, you're gonna have an extra time or like extra attack using the Flying Arm Guard and also your basic attack or your abilities every time you're dealing damage to the enemies. So in conclusion, you can do like 4 attacks. So let's say the damage from the trinket, and then after that the damage from the parrot because of the abilities or the passive or the traits, and also you will do another 2 attacks, one from the ability and another attack from the parrot. So that's why it's really good if you have these things on your Homa, if you build her as a DPS. But if you don't have anything else, disaster bottle is always way to go. But then you might need to think about it again, because the disaster bottle is kind of a debuff kind of thingy, so it will not triggers your parrot or the bird to attack the enemies. Another trinket that I would suggest for you to have is probably the True Lens. It's because they increase the attack, and also when attacking from Highland, the critical rate is going to increase by 20%. But other than that, I don't know what to suggest. Maybe the Maverick Cloaks, it's really good, but then again, Homa is more likely like bruiser kind of unit, so you probably use her as a support while you're gonna be around to your allies, so you're pretty much not going to use the function of the ability of the Maverick's Cloaks as well. And look at the tarot. For now, I would be comfortable enough to use the Temptation of the Devil, because pretty much all I do is PvE at the moment, and it's going to increase Homa's attack and defense whether I use her as a support or damage dealer. But for the support, I would suggest you to have Elegance of Empress or the Fools of Naivety, because of the HP increasements, as also like additional damage if you have the higher percentage HP from the target. And I think that's it for my Homa's review video, because I just want to highlight some points of her ability and the build that probably she could have, in my opinion. So I hope this video could be useful as your reference whenever you want to build a Homa as a support or the damage dealer. And I'm really hoping that I could see you guys to watch my other video in the futures. I'm gonna make another video for Samantha, because she's now on the Destined banner, and I would also just explain a little bit of her advantage of being a healer, and also her flexibility to become a damage dealer as well. And I think that's it for now. I hope you have a good day. See you again in the next video. Bye now.